Russian curses spill behind, dripping pipes drum overhead. Every shadow wants them dead. Surf ninja beach boogie on a midnight rave. Spirit dance spinning with a bloody blade. Keep that iron fleet trembling at the edge of the waves. Surf ninja beach boogie in the ocean waves. Chart room shaking, maps take flight. Hydrophone hissing light. Periscope spin sees the shore. Mask and board on the water's roar. On the swells they draw their line. Bare feet stamping, beating time. Salt on lips, toes in sand. Spirit dance kills every command. Surf ninja beach boogie on a midnight raid. Oh yeah. Spirit dance burning through the crimson chain of command. Keep that iron fleet drifting far away from our land. Surf ninja beach boogie till they understand. Left foot, right foot, healing foam. Call the storm and send them home. Decks run red, the ghost advance, but the tide swings wide for the spirit dance. Surf ninja beach boogie, shake the breaking waves. Spirit dance rising like a tidal wave. Keep that iron fleet turning back the way it came. Surf ninja beach boogie, remember the name.
Howdy, howdy, it's your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Man, it has been a while, and here I am trying to knock off some cobwebs and get back used to this whole thing. So definitely give me a second here to kind of get used to this kind of stuff. I gotta remember all my controls. As you can tell, the title of the stream's all weird. Man, I am... I'm a little rusty, I'm a little street, but it's awesome to see you guys. Like I said, it's cool. I know it's been a long time. Many a moon, but I see some of you guys are still here. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah, it's like riding a bike while it's on fire. Alright. Well, I hope everyone's been awesome since I've been gone. I got a lot of stuff done, a lot of fun things in life, a lot of changes. But I've also been working on some models here and there, playing a lot more bolt action and Konflikt 47. Every now and then I try my hand at Warhammer 40k, and then I remember why I don't like Warhammer 40k. And then I move back to bolt action in Konflikt 47. It's a brutal cycle, but it is what it is. So what you're currently seeing on the screen so far is I have some guys built and painted for an event we have coming up. On April 17th and 18th, we have our Once Upon a December. It's going to be our alternate history Konflikt 47 Russian Civil War. I decided to paint up some Axis forces. These are my winter alternate history themed Spanish blue division, so it's actually kind of cool. As you can tell, they have their blue coats, which is kind of cool. They have red berets. It was kind of fun to paint. And then I've actually kit bashed an officer from my Imperial Japanese force here. I found a really cool monk for D&D, and he had like a mask. He had like a little Tiki thing on his belt, and I was like, I think I can make that into like a witch doctor, like a Tiki officer. So I went ahead and did that. So that'll probably be what we're painting today. I have a whole bunch of more Spanish blue division to paint. Like the officer, and then I have all of their Falcon. So for the assault platoon, they actually have these jetpack troops. So I have a whole bunch of them to paint as well. So we got plenty to paint. Back to streaming. Kind of the usual hours. We'll be doing 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, so that's actually not bad at all. Hopefully we can start cutting through a lot of these models. I have a lot of models primed. So hopefully we can start kind of cutting through them all. That would be good. Oh, nice. She just got her American Walkers and Fireflies. Nice, nice. Awesome. Good to see their painting. Let me just tinker a little bit. I'm still here. I'm just going to be tinkering a little bit behind the scenes here, trying to... Everything changed. I think the other day, Morning was late streaming and he blamed it on OBS, and now I literally see why. So I'm having to go through and fix a bunch of stuff as well on my side. So let's see what we got here. Give me a second. I gotta tinker a little bit here, a little bit there. But as you heard, there's a new intro song. I have a whole bunch of all sorts of new Tiki tunes lined up. I'll be slowly releasing those. Mrs. Tiki is actually helping me now with a lot of my videos, and so I'll be releasing a lot of shorts, trying to catch up. And then when the Festone Europa, when Fortress Europe book drops, just like Reki, I try not to say that. I prefer just to say Fortress Europe. When Fortress Europe drops, I'll be doing the lore videos. But I'll be doing them as soon as the book drops for a normal audience. As you guys know, I don't do early access. So, wargaming for wargamers, as it were, you know? Alright. There we go, that's what I'm looking. Just, sorry guys, a little bit of work on the back end side here. Just trying to work on some things. I think this is number 84. Yeah, we'll call it 84. Alright, there we go. We got our title fixed. Nice! Matthew Gord. Hey, man, it's been a long time, brother. Hopefully you're still working nights, and hopefully you're still having a good time. Euro Papa. You can't pre-order the new Italianos because Lent. Well, I know you don't say Happy Lent, but I hope you had a good Carnivale. I'm assuming no. And you know, Italian, Lent, Carnivale, so. Alright. Also, a lot of my videos are going to look different, guys. I still use, for those of you who are into video editing, which, you know, I'm not. But I'm going to try and use Adobe Premiere to finish up my teaser trailers, because I want those to look exactly the same. I still have Germany and the Soviets to go. And then from there, I'll be fully jumping over to DaVinci Resolve. So, just like how this stream, I had to like redo everything, I'll have to redo everything in Adobe Resolve. So, just bear with me with the videos that come out. All right. So, I am alive, and I can paint, and it's going to be a good time. I had a 40k game today, and I got the living brakes beaten off me. It was my second ever game. He's like, oh, what kind of game do you have? I was like, oh, a casual game. It'll be chill. He's like, oh, yeah, I could do that. So I was late because of traffic. I'm rarely late. I always like to get places early. And by the time I get there, the table's already set up. It's super small, terrain everywhere. I was like, oh, that's good. Mission's already laid out, you know? Cards already laid out for me. It's like, yeah, man, just start rolling for sides. It's like, huh. They got a little more suspicious as they went along, but I could say I tank shocked some people. And to me, that's all that matters. So, I really wanted to get some crusading in, you know? Because I always wanted crusade since, I think it was 9th or 10th. Yeah, I wanted crusade since 9th, you know? I know 10th's just about over and 11th's coming. I'm still going to try and get a crusade in on 10th, but I figured it out. So I know. Every channel in the world's talked about this. I know it's supposed to be mostly Konflikt 47, but please bear with me here for a minute. while it's fresh, I got the living shit beaten out of me in a game of 40k. What's so funny is I was playing this game of 40k while literally right across the store, our bolt action league was playing. We're doing a escalation league for bolt action. So it's actually a lot of fun. So we have to play 2 games per points limits, and it goes up every couple of months. Currently, we're at 500 points. So I'm getting the living, I mean, absolutely stuff and beaten out of me. And 40k, I can hear my buddies over there playing bolt action. I'm like, oh, I wish I was playing bolt action. I'm telling you, like, turn 3, I was done. I was absolutely done with this whole thing. I was like, how many turns is this? Like 5? I was like, fuck me. Alright. And they're like, hey, what happens with this? I'm like, I don't know, ask Tiki. And they're like shouting across the store, like, hey, what happens for this rule? What happens for that rule? And I'm like, maybe I should stick to the game I know. But the reason why I bring it, still on overnights, Matthew, nice. Spider Mark 4 tank, oh, I love it. But what I noticed with, at least with, and I mean, he was a nice guy. The guy I played, zero complaints. There's some things I thought I didn't know about. I learned all sorts of new rules. Hey, what's going on, Jenny? I learned all sorts of new rules. I didn't know triple charging was a thing. Things have changed, spoiler alert, since 7th edition. And that's fine. It's my fault, no one else's. So one thing I will say about Warhammer 40k, at least the edition, or at least what I played today with, you know, all the card drawing, and there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there was 5 huge circle, like, objectives and all this kind of stuff. I feel like it's a little less of a war game. Almost more like a points game. You know how it's like in the grimdark future there's only war? It's like in the grimdark future there's only points to score, and every inch matters, so position carefully. I feel like that should be the tagline. So it's a little strange. Like I said, I can see the rules, I can see it's fun. I can see why they do it the way they do as far as the rules and the competitive and all that kind of stuff. It's easier to run these big events, easier to get more games played. I get that, but I feel like and it's only 2 games, so what the hell do I know? And they've only been 500 points. So I feel like the 2 games I played for 10th edition just feels a little less like a war game. Yes, you did get those correctly. I do believe these are Mad Robot miniatures. Either that or Anvil. These are definitely Mad Robot miniatures. Yep. Welcome back, HS. I missed you, brother. All right, catch on with the stream. I'm learning how to stream again. You got to read the chat. I can learn. I can do this. I used to do it once. I used to be a streamer like you until I took an arrow in the knee. But I'm learning. That's what matters, right? All right. Oh, thanks. Yes, I want to say, I know I'm so bad about this. I want to say they're Mad Robot miniatures, because that's generally the place I prefer to go to for bits. Nothing against Anvil. I like Anvil. I like a lot of their stuff. It's just they're in Europe, and so it takes a long time to get here. Mad Robot miniatures. I've used them for a long time as well. Again, since like 7th edition, 40k. And I'm pretty sure they're Americano. So if you're in the States, you get your stuff pretty reasonably quick. Alright. I have a whole new chair, by the way. It's awesome. It's super comfortable. So I'm like learning how to like lean over and paint while on camera. So it's a learning time. Oh, I know. Just to show off a little bit of the stuff I'm doing for 40k, because I said I don't know if I'll play anymore than the 11th, but I'm having fun kit bashing. So I have a little gobbo on a on a tau marker drone. So that cracked me up. Love the lore and I love building. Hey, what's going on, Tom? You see the bundles that just released for Comic 47? I did. So I feel like Warlord Games was starting to feel the heat a little bit from some of the lack of value in some of their starter boxes. So I think they're like, hey, look, now with so much better value. I was like, or we could just call that value, you know? That's definitely one of the videos coming out. It's going to be showing you what the Imperial Japanese, not that the models look cool, but the Konflikt 47 Imperial Japanese starter box and like all 12 models it comes with versus the starter box for the first, or for the OG edition of Konflikt 47, and how to actually build a full 1250 point army with that. So we'll, that's definitely what I'm going to try and lean towards. It's not going to be, I know drama and salt breeds clicks, but you guys know I don't do it for the clicks, I don't do it for advertising or anything like that. But my goal is to kind of show a lot more of the value and the fun to be had with bolt action and Konflikt 47. But at the same point in time, not to just mindlessly glaze the company at the same point in time. I have no issues with Warlord games, but at the same point in time, I have no loyalty either. It's World War II and it's weird World War II. You own the IP to Konflikt 47, that's fine, that's cool. You know, you guys invested a lot of money, that's awesome, but there's a lot of proxies out there. And I feel like they often get overlooked. The focus on the Warlord games models, which to me, the new sculpts, I think there's more, maybe a spicy take. Oh, he's coming back swinging, right? Nah, I promise I'm still in a positive mood. Even though I just got the shit kicked in like, at Warhammer 40k, that wasn't fun. But spicy take, I feel like for the most part of all the newer sculpts, there's a lot more misses than hits. Finally, female is awesome, but just plastic partisans, that is phenomenal. I love that. Another spicy take on my part, right? I feel like they just jumped all of Konflikt 47 just a little bit early. I feel like they should have waited until they had all the major books out for bolt action and then release Konflikt 47 so the rules would be more in lines. I think they're going to forever have this growing pain and rift between the two now. And it seems like they just dropped it a little early, which was kind of weird. But neither here nor there. So, yeah, as you can tell, I ordered a couple of these flag arms because I really like them. So, this is actually part of my 750 force I have for Once Upon a December. So, it's all of this, plus I think a, what are the axes called? The short half track? Not a Hana mag, but a 251. Like the real small one. So, we'll take one of those. But, so we have this guy that's going to be our commander of our Spanish Blue Division. He's gonna have a flag, a nice little Spanish flag. He's got a adjutant who's a bugler because it's the Spanish. Of course, you got to, right? Let's see if I can find his other adjutant somewhere around here. Oh no! I'll see if I can find him. Pull up some of the special weapons teams. So I have a oh no. There it is. Morocco's being better. No, I think a bugle, because I imagine almost like the Alamo, like Deguelo, before Santa Anna used it for the Mexican army, it was used by the Spanish cavalry. So I imagine I'm playing Deguelo. Alright, so over here we have the Panzerschreck team. These are Konflikt 47 Spanish, because as you can tell, the officer and a lot of the airborne have M1 rifles, which is what I'm using for assault rifles, because I didn't have that many. Oh yeah. Oh nope. Okay, here's the other adjutant. That's right, because he has an assault rifle. Alright, here's my other adjutant. He's got binoculars and an assault rifle for the officer. And then here's the secondary guy for the light mortar. And that's the funny thing about Konflikt 47. When you run out of bits, you can just use whatever you want. So for my Blue Division, I absolutely use an Imperial Japanese Light Mortar. Hey! Nathan 2000, as I live and breathe. This is probably my favorite person in all of Fortress Europa. How you doing, Nathan? Hey, old gamer dad, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream. We're showing off a little bit of Konflikt 47 models before we start painting a little bit more. So I'm getting these guys ready. These are alternate history Blue Division, and this is for a Konflikt 47 match we have coming up. It's an second Russian Civil War alternate history, so that'll be kind of fun. These guys are gonna be working with the Axis. Bad Rabbit, the man, the myth, the legend. Bad Rabbit and Arcade, both here. In case you guys don't know, first off, I gotta send you guys your patches. I have them, by the way. But Bad Rabbit and Arcade are the actual true blue Tiki veterans of Clash of the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, we played Konflikt 47 in international water and probably drank our weight in fermented fruit and grain. We drank like fishes and had an absolute blast. We had entire tables filled with empty glasses from drinking. Oh man, that was so much fun. Yeah, RK, his +1, Bad Rabbit, his +1. Absolutely amazing people. We have pictures, we have stories. So much fun it should have been illegal and probably is in 3 different countries. It was an absolute blast. And then you see the squad back here. These are going to go ahead and be a rifle squad with a light machine gun. Oh, and there's an AT rifle, which is actually kind of sweet. I feel like I'm missing a guy somewhere. We shall see. Alright. I think that's where the binocular came from. But yeah, I went for a AT rifle. And like I said, I didn't really have a good one. So I actually just made this AT rifle from a, you can probably tell, from a toothpick. So I cut off the mag from a light machine gun. Yeah, oh. Funny you mentioned that, Bad Rabbit. That lamp broke on the way home. So I had this, like, Tiki speaker thing. It was like a Tiki torch fire. So I had that up in the porthole behind the mask for like ambiance, and like when the crew came by, they thought something was on fire. You know, and fires on a ship's a huge no-go. Dude, it was insane. Oh yeah, I wish, man, we could sit here and swap stories. It was so, yeah, it's one of those things I know we're saying like, and then everyone clapped, but like honestly, no, people kept walking. Because there's a lot of shows in the theater that's a little bit located to the stern of the vessel. And so people had to walk by. We were on the main entertainment deck. They had to walk by the library. And the library is generally dark and quiet and no one goes in there. It's just like sitting there and talking. You know, like if you've ever been on a date and you say something that upsets your date and you have to like pull her to the side and be like, hey, I'm sorry I said that. And why are you feeling so strange? Do you want to go home? Or are we not having a good... You know, like those like awkward conversations you don't want to have in public. Generally, that's what people use the library for on their way back from that show or from drinking, you know? But we were in there at the time, setting up these tables with as much terrain as I could smuggle in a suitcase. We have this, hey, Squeaker Sean, what's going on, buddy? So, all the terrain I could smuggle in a suitcase, you know, we had these tables set up. It's pretty sparse, but we're having a great time, laughing, hooting, hollering, rolling dice. And so the cruise director comes by, he's like, what do you guys do? We tell him, he's like, that is awesome. He leaves. He brings back the officer in charge of the steward department, because you know you have the deck department, steward department, engine department. So he brings back the steward of the officer in charge of the steward department. He's like, are you guys playing like a board game? We're like, kind of explain. He's like, no one has ever used the library for this. This is insane. So he leaves, and then another guy comes back from the bar, and he's like, what do you guys want? We're like, what do you mean? He's like, oh. He's like, he bought everyone here a drink. You know, what do you want? We're like, oh, we'll take this, 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 this. And the guy came back with a whole tray full of drinks. And this is in between us running and getting drinks constantly. It was an absolute blast. I highly recommend it. You know, when I host it again, I'll make sure I talk about it plenty of times so people can get their tickets and things like that. But you can ask the crew who went. You can ask Bad Rabbit. You can ask RK. You hear a lot of rumors about the ship. I don't know about their experiences. Maybe their rooms were good. Maybe their rooms weren't good. I I thought the food was fine. I thought the accommodations were good. No real complications boarding and not. I thought it was over. I mean, I preferred when we docked in Freeport versus the Capitol. The Capitol's a little too busy for my taste. I did get to watch some locals get tossed down by the police, and that was hysterical. Man, don't fuck with Bohemian police. Spoiler alert, I didn't see any body cameras. But I went to the Pirate Museum, which is actually kind of cool. But had a lot of fun. So you'll have to ask them what they thought of it. I thought it was a cool event, so. That's right, he did spill my drink on the floor. Yeah, these were good times, man. So that's just one event. So as excited as I am for the next event, which is a little bit more gaming, less debauchery. It's once you're like challenge accepted, right? It's Once Upon a December, as you can tell with my my wintering. I'll show you guys how I did this too. So not the best snow basing, but I've tried decently. I got tips from a lot of guys like Squid Hunter Sean and a few others. You guys know when it comes time for painting, I always refer to Squid Hunter Sean, probably the best painter I know. But I hit it with a based white paint, and then I used this awesome AK diorama stuff. Let me show you what I got. So I used this AK snow. Now they have a lot of different snows, but I used this diorama snow. Just the snow. What this stuff looks like, I'll show you. I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Like I get ADD. I can't stay on task. It looks like if you keep your mind out of the gutter. It looks more like marshmallow fluff, and it works kind of like marshmallow fluff. But the cool part is, when you put it on, you can actually dollop. And I literally mean like, yeah, the forbidden fluff. Yeah, you dollop this stuff on, and let it sit deep like that. And what it does, let's see if I can find one of the guys. Yeah, what it does, it makes almost like snow banks, which is really cool. It gives like a volume to the snow. I'm sure there's a better way to describe it. Here, hold on. Let me dig with the lighting here. All right. There you go. I adjusted the lighting down a little bit so you can kind of, so it's not like blinding, which snow would be, right? There we go. Let's take a look at this. And like I said, I use these little grass tufts that I found on Amazon for super cheap that have like a little bit of snow on them too. And I think it gave me a pretty good little effect that I'm going for. Alright, now I'm trying to talk and read the chat. I'm terrible at this. Let me try and catch up. Oop. Alright, let's see what all I messed up with. We made new buddies on the ship too. Got a couple to come back and watch. We did, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we actually found people. They subscribed to the channel. They thought it was the weirdest thing in the world. They thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, Spanish fighting in the snow, you're right, it's absolutely weird. But it's Konflikt 47. We gotta love it. Yeah, so if you're looking for that snow effect, I do highly recommend. I use AK now for a lot of basing, so I really like the snow fluff stuff. I use their beach sand for my IJN. Big fan of that stuff. And I just very recently got, I can't remember what models I got these for actually, but I got some Sandy Desert. No idea what I got them for. I literally can't remember what models I got those for. Oop, there goes some paint. Alright. We're learning. Yeah, Spanish volunteers in the German hardy fighting in snow. I love it. Yeah, so Depticon's coming up. So we're already kind of looking at what event do we want to run after Once Upon a December here in April. So again, Once Upon a December is going to be April 17th and 18th at Warpfire Games. I've already been talking to them. So that's pretty cool. So the way it's going to run, for those of you guys in the local area, just kind of let you guys know. So the reason why we're doing it over 2 days is the 17th is going to be a casual day. A day where we're all just kind of like hanging out, chilling, chitting and chatting. Gives you time to shop there, you know, support the store, buy what you need to buy. They always have good prices, actually. Really good prices. And also gives a chance to like meet each other, show each other our armies, you know, see how they're painted, all that kind of fun stuff. Maybe get in some like practice games. Hey, what's going on, Ibrahim Gaunt? And then on the 18th is when we actually are going to be doing the actual event. So what the event is the storyline for it. Pick up my Spanish guy here. So what the story is British SOE and OSS have actually found a woman claiming to be Anastasia. So they're putting her on the throne. So you have White Russians, or Tsarist, supported by allies, the British and the Americans, Konflikt 47, against the Red Army for Konflikt 47, the Soviets. And between that whole Russian Civil War, you have some people, some opportunists trying to make some land grabs, which will be the Axis and the Empire of Japan. So those are your three factions. You can either be Tsarist or White Russians, you can be Red Russians / Soviets, or you can be an opportunist. So there's going to be multiple tables, and it's going to be 2K versus 2K. And what it is you're starting with your armored platoon. Instead of an assault platoon that unlocks other platoons, you start with an armored platoon, and that unlocks all the other platoons. And the tables are going to be big, snow maps, plenty of open terrain. So the way it's going to play is almost like a Konflikt 47 Kursk. We're expecting big, huge tank and walker battles. Matthew, the IGA, I just read your comment. The IGA, they're fun. I don't know if you caught the earlier stream. I just struggled through my second game of Warhammer 40k, did not enjoy it. And the whole time I was listening to someone else play Bolt Action across the store, and I just wish I was playing Bolt Action. But Imperial Japanese and Konflikt 47 are wildly different than how they are in a Bolt Action. I'm talking it's night or day. They play, the closest example is kind of like old school Gene Stealer Cult. Like you have, I don't say you have to. The way I've had success with them is you have to utilize ambush, become a master of ambush. That to me is the key, and you don't have to avoid the high expensive items like Ghost Attack Squad, some of the other stuff. You can take them, but they're extremely unforgiving. It's as lame and cliche as it sounds, you're walking on a katana's edge. You have to really get the points value out of every model you take. There's not a lot of leeway as there is with some of the other armies. You know, I mean, every model has to perform. There's very little fat in the Imperial Japanese, or the Empire of Japan for Konflikt 47. So the way I've had success, maybe it's a little bit more of a lame approach, I guess. I take a lot more conventional forces. I've taken a lot of Chihas, I've taken Scorpions and light AT guns. The only rift I use zombies, because they perform very well, especially with the ambush charge that the Empire of Japan gets. And I use the Shiburo rifle for my snipers. And that's it. So everything else I play conventional, and I've had pretty good success with it. Yeah, you gotta stick and move, you gotta strike smart. Guts. I know a lot of people like luck, but I'm feeling using guts for the Empire of Japan, even if you have the points, even sneaking in an artillery platoon with one medium AT gun and one officer, and pay for the guts and the combat blade is amazing. Combat blades are worth every penny. Those would allow you to really kind of mix it up in close combat. And remember, AT guns, you still get +1 when shooting a vehicle. That's huge against walkers. And with the Imperial Japanese, if you get a cover save, a la from your gun shield, you actually get +1 if you're in ambush. So ambush and cover and stuff like that with the Empire of Japan, to me, is huge. Yeah, I'm really liking this AK stuff. I think you're the one turning me onto it, Squig and Sean. It's so good to see you guys again and talk to you guys. I know it's been quite a while. Yeah, so the sniper team with the Shibora rifle, and you use an officer with guts. I put that guy in ambush, and then they bring somebody in. We call it the demotion board. He's killed a lot of people. Particularly, he loves Firefly and COs for some ungodly reason. Combining guts with a lot of your tanks or your snipers on ambush is huge because you're able to pop one and then give them their order dice right back. It's absolutely awesome. Hey, Baron, what's going on? Man, the whole gang's here. I missed you guys. Let me actually get some painting in. So I want to show you guys what we'll be working on in the next couple of days is actually getting the Konflikt 47 part of our Blue Division painted and ready. As you can tell, these guys are going to be our Falcons, our Axis Falcons, our airborne guys with assault rifles. So it's kind of cool. If you can kind of see what they are, they have their berets, they have these little gas mask style, not gas mask, but like respirator style things. So I thought it'd be kind of cool for like high altitude. So the heads and the backpacks are, I want to say, Mad Robot Minis. If you're here in the States, I highly recommend Mad Robot Minis. No affiliation. You know how I am. I don't do affiliations. You do you, boo. But good price for a good amount of models. I don't feel like they screw you, and the shipping's actually pretty quick. Yeah, like I said, the axe looks really hold their own. But for the Empire of Japan, something I've had success with. I'll actually have the models out tomorrow, so I'll actually show you guys what I'm calling like the Tiki T tactic for the Empire of Japan as far as using zombies and tanks. It's proved effective. They've eaten daughters and they've eaten fireflies, so I'm actually pretty happy with that. But what I do is I put my tanks in the backfield. I put them on ambush, and I put zombies nearby, and I put them on ambush. And it keeps the fireflies from like kind of landing behind me and shooting me in the ass with those penetration E-Thompsons or those E-Slugs. It triggers the zombies to kind of eat them, and those two tanks on ambush, they've absolutely lit up some walkers. So I'm actually pretty happy. All right. Well, let me try and get a little bit of paint on these guys. I think who we're going to paint, as conceited as it sounds, is... Let's actually start working on our Tiki the Hut officer model. So as you guys can tell, I went full Gary Stu. I gave him like every weapon loadout ever. But that's just so I can run him like WYSIWYG for any combo I have. That's for bolt action and Konflikt 47. So SMG, we gave him the goat. We gave him the grease gun. He's got a sword. He's got a rifle with a bayonet. He's got a knife. He's got a pistol. So he's got everything he needs. I can run him with a pistol and a sword. I can run him with a rifle. Or I can run him with an SMG. Yeah, the Scorpion's not bad. I've been enjoying the Scorpion a little bit more with the light AT gun. I feel like it keeps the cost down. I think if you're a good player, which I'm not, you can play with some of the newer models in the Empire of Japan. You'll be okay. But for me, until I learn them, I'm kind of using, and it's a crutch, I'll admit that, but I'm using a lot more of the generic models for the Empire of Japan until I really get to feel the Force a little bit better. So I'm using and it also kind of matches the lore, as you guys hear in the songs I write and stuff like that. You know, the Tiki Terrors were like shipwrecked on this island, and the Empire of Japan both like ignores them and slightly supports them and uses them as like a speed bump in the Pacific. You know, they don't give them any unnecessary orders, but they also don't reinforce them with Rift technology. They're just like, just leave them there. They're fine. So that's why they keep kind of recruiting the locals and stuff like that, you know? So that's why they don't have too much Rift tech, really just the snipers and the zombies. Alright, so let's get painting. So yeah, the new hours will be going from 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. I'll probably take a break somewhere in the middle, you know, and there's actually a new song for you guys to hear. I'm actually pretty excited. It's one of my favorite songs, so that's kind of cool. I'll be releasing them all in a video here soon. Afternoon, Baron. How you doing, man? Afternoon where you are. That's awesome. It's currently 1:44 a.m. here. So, for the flag, I will be cheating and using the amazing artistic talents of Mrs. Tiki, and she will be painting that, which is actually pretty cool. I cut the eagle off, but I left the eagle on for the Spanish officer and his flag. Figure the eagle is very fascist looking, you know, for the Axis forces. So I figured I'll leave that on there for the Spanish. No, I'm alive. Yeah. Of all the crazy stuff that happened while I was quote unquote away, man, it just kept being more and more stuff. I took it from the French at Talavera. He paid with his life, as you should have. Oh, Major Simmons. Yeah, Major Simmons answered with his life. Alright. I'm actually trying to figure how I want to paint him, so I think I'm going to leave the pants and the shirt tan, just like the rest of the Japanese. I think I'm going to do the chest or the crest almost like a fur, so they're going to go with the fur brown right there. The mask is going to be wood. Now I'm curious for the dick towel in the front and in the back, the butt flap. Should we make that white? Because I have a whole box of well shit. I had a box. Oh, here we go. I got some reinforcements for the Tiki tears. I'm trying to use maybe a little bit less Japanese riflemen. I'm going to be using more natives, trying to go for more of a actual Tiki style Tiki tear. So I think I'll be using white on their dick towels. Major Linux, that's what it was. Simerson, yep, there it is. Major Linux. Man, it's been a while. I need to watch Sharp again. Don't horse guards me, sir. Hey, Corn Gaines, what's going on, man? Ruck for the Ruck God, swim for the Swim Throne. How's it going, man? The weather here finally got normal, so it's nice to ruck again. I hate rucking in the cold. And yes, ironically enough, it's get cold here in Florida. It's been so cold that we actually had it was raining iguanas again down south, so the iguanas were getting frozen and falling off the trees. It's always fun. Nice. Yeah, we're painting some Konflikt 47 and bolt action stuff. So these are my alternate history Blue Division Spanish for a big Russian Civil War event we have coming up here soon, here in Florida. So this is actually my my self-insert Gary Stu model here. This is my Tiki officer. So I'm just kind of looking at it and planning how to paint this guy. Same, got access. Nice. Yeah, I went Spanish Blue Division for my Axis. I figured something different no one's seen. Pretty happy with that. And like I said, it's pretty cool to play them all as veterans and angry and shit like that. Weather here, can't think if it's winter or spring. Yeah, no kidding. Alright, so we're just planning out how to paint this model. So yeah, I think I am going to do the butt flap and the dick towel there. I think we're going to do it white. Really kind of make him pop a little bit. Let's see, he's got moccasins on, so alright, let's just dive on in. I think for his chest, like that kind of vest he has, I think we're actually just gonna go with, especially how this is kind of like roughage, like green. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna pull some of the I have a box of the new Imperial Japanese bolt action models, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull some of the camouflage grass off of those and put them on here. So that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, today was a good day. Immediately got off work, ran down to my local store, tried to sneak in a 500-point game, Warhammer 40k. Realized that 10th edition may not be for me, and that's okay. I'm an old 6th and 7th edition, you know, grognard, that's fine. And I'm excited for 11th edition. Hopefully it brings a little bit more narrative stuff. Got my living orc kicked in by some Necrons. That was fun. I think I fought the new Necron detachment. I don't know. It had some goofy shit. There was some absolute goofy shit, but it's all good. I don't know, chat. What do we think? I'm still working. I don't know if you guys do this, but it's almost like what you use, like Hero Forge. You know, you use the internet website Hero Forge. So I like to look at a model, and I just kind of like figure in my head what to paint it, and I kind of just like paint it top to bottom with all the colors. So it's like using Hero Forge in your head, I guess, if that makes sense. Probably a backwards of explaining that. So I'm trying to figure out what all colors go where before I actually start slapping some paint on them. For the chest, I'm debating, do we want green or do we want leather? I feel like leather might be better for the vest here. I think we may go leather here. Yeah, so for those who don't know the deep Tiki lore, so tabletop wargaming, I started with Battlefleet Gothic. I mean, I saved my money from my job as a teenager for like years. I was a lifeguard, right? So started working for the city at a very early age. I've always been a government hooker. I've always worked for the government. So saved my wages for like years and years, avoided partying, and I finally got, to this day, obviously I have member berries and nostalgia, but the best 2-person starter box of all time. People can fight me, that's fine. Battlefleet Gothic. It was amazing. And in one of the White Dwarf episodes, there was a rule talking about boarding parties, and you can use 40k miniatures. And I just started reading 40k novels. First novel I read was Guns of Tanith. Yes, I know it's in the middle of the Gaunt's Go series. No, I didn't care. It was phenomenal, and I loved it. Second book I read was 15 Hours. So I was hooked in for the guard, but obviously I was a teenager, so I couldn't afford it. So, you know, fast forward, God, I don't even know, like 10 years. It wasn't until I was a non-commissioned officer and I had disposable income, right? So when I finally landed back in the States, I remember I bought my first Warhammer 40k kit and built it. I bought 2 boxes of Cultist, the push-fit models, and I bought 1 Cadian Command Squad, and I loved every second of it, right? Made my first terrain out of some like empty boxes. Cut up the sprues to make hedgehogs, like check hedgehogs. Loved it. So that was, I want to say, the tail end of 6th. I started playing tail end of 6th and start of 7th. It's not perfect. It's my first love. So I liked 7th for what it was. I had a good local group. We still had our invisible Death Stars. We still had our Grey Knight shenanigans. Psychic Vase sucked, but we had a lot of people who went out of their way to play Armageddon games. So we had massive combined armed guard matches versus orcs. I'm talking somebody did infantry, someone did tanks, and my Imperial Guard, I did Imperial Navy Armsmen, I did Naval Pioneers. So I used a lot of Valkyries and stuff like that. I absolutely love 7th. Played a little bit of 8th, let it go, and then I came back with some orcs to try and play a little bit in 10th. Things have changed, ladies and or gentlemen. Going from 7th to 10th was, especially after playing a lot of bolt action in Konflikt 47, it was interesting, to say the least. I know, I'm sitting there as I'm chitting and chatting, I'm like, hold on, I'm supposed to be painting here. Looking for my brown, just reading it all, moved all my paints around. Oh, that actually rhymes. Looking for my brown, and I moved all my paints around. Alright, cool. As you can tell, I know Squid Hunter Sean's a huge fan. I do still use my Citadel pot paints. I know. As you can tell, I'm a very member berries kind of guy. If it works, I don't change it. Loves Gaunt's Ghost, but Stormwar Iron was my first. Nice. Ex-Navy. Ex-Navy, so got all my drinking out of the way there. Yep, I bet. Absolutely. Miss the Gothic stuff. Oh, hell yeah. I started in 9th and I don't like what 10th has become. But hey, just like the guy or girl in a bad relationship, you know, that next relationship's just around the corner. I hear 11th, you know, 11th's around the corner. We'll see. Maybe it has everything we want it to be. What are the odds, right? So if you guys are curious what this model is, I'll show you. As I was buying models for Mordheim, yes, Mordheim, you will see me paint those as well. I'm working on a Mordheim warband. I like using D&D models a lot for stuff. And I found this monk. I'm like, hey, this guy might work for an Imperial Japanese officer. Then I saw the other monk, and it looked like he had a mask on. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. And so I took that guy, cut off his ponytail, cut off the horns on the mask, made it a little bit more Tiki-fied, and that's where I found this model for an officer. So we're going to do the mask brown for wood, and then I will try to copy the mask that I have as a as an avatar. Yeah, so I am trying to bring back Mordheim. So when I left Warhammer 40k around the beginning of 8th, it was to do D&D. And so I did D&D for a long time, up until the Wuhan flu days, until the outbreak. And that brought a lot of people into D&D. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we're not going to start that whole discussion. But it, the hobby changed a little bit, and I decided to kind of go into a different direction. I decided to go back into wargaming. I went back into Gaslands, which I still love, and Fallout, Wasteland Warfare. Speaking of Gaslands, so as I was getting the ever-living shit kicked out of me by the Necrons, I decided to fall back on my tried-true tactic. If I'm not having fun playing Warhammer 40k because I have orcs, I decided to play Gaslands in 28mm. So, according to the points, which I still don't understand the point scoring, I lost. But according to me, I tank shocked twice and I wiped 2 squads. So, in my head, I won. I had a blast. Tank shocking with orc trucks, by the way, is phenomenal. Because they're toughness 8, so it's like, I think, what, you roll like 8 dice? And 5 and up, or mortal wounds with a max of 6. Yeah, that's a game changer right there. Yeah, he was beating the pants off me, bringing his guys back. My boys weren't doing as good as I thought they were. Nothing wrong with my models, it was me using them. You know, I don't really know what I was doing. But tank shock, when the trucks came around to tank shock, it was pretty good. I like Fallout. I like Fallout factions. I'm actually setting up a railroad list right now. Coordinate Gains. I'm a huge Fallout fan, so I'm actually setting up a railroad list, which is kind of cool. I got a lot of different mini games going on. No one plays it in my area though, so it's likely I'll just make it for myself and be like, oh, look what I made, and keep it on my shelf. As happens to so many of us poor wargamers. Alright, we got our Tiki mouse here. Boo, Brotherhood. Well, it's funny. So that's what I originally made my Railroader as both Raiders or Brotherhood. Because Brotherhood, I mean, I imagine they're just kidnapping people but setting them free. Or I thought Raiders would be good for a Railroad faction. Because what a great cover. You know, everyone just thinks they're raiders and they keep kidnapping people. But the people they kidnapped, you know, are actual synths that they set free. So it's another chapter of the railroad, like somewhere else in the country, and they just dress up like raiders as a cover. I'm actually slowly setting up my home gym. That's one of the many things I did when I took a break from streaming. I've actually been working on getting in shape. And those are the guys who saw me when I went to Clash of the Caribbean, the Konflikt 47 event I held on a cruise ship. I'm a big guy, you know, big guy, heavy set. I'm slowly working on it, you know, having fun, stress relieving stuff. So, but I have been working on a home gym, slowly adding things, you know, as as I lose some poundage, you keep some poundage off. I kind of doing it almost like a reward system, and unlocks new gear to use. You know, so it's kind of cool. So I started with like just a regular bench, then I added more free weights, then kettlebells. You know, I'm adding stuff slowly as I go down in weight. It's kind of nice. NCR, not NCR and Legion. Oh, Legion's so cool. Legion has some cool damn models, I will say that. Alright, we got our Tiki mask in. Let's go ahead and start working on... But yeah, that's my main workout thing. Is when the weather cooperates, I like to swim, and when that doesn't, I like rucking. Rucking is generally my my favorite go-to. Backpack, good weight, and just pound pavement. So I do know that the NCR and a bunch of other plastic kits are coming soon, especially after season 2 of the show, so they should be coming pretty quick. Alright, let me grab one of my favorite paints of all time. And I actually spilled it the other day. Oh, it broke my heart. I actually spilt my snakebite leather. My favorite contrast paint. I just like the way this paint works. I think there might be other companies who would do better leather paint, but I just really like the way snakebite leather works, because you can really kind of go back over and do multiple layers and kind of like literally show the crease in the leather and show age. Huge fan of it. Actually spilt a little bit on my new chair. I was like, no! Me and a bunch of lads started kickboxing at my local gym. Nice. I'm a World Eater fan, and one of the I sparred was a World Bear fan. Nice. Yeah, 40K really has gotten popular, which is actually really cool to see. Oh, so that was the cool thing. I did get to hook my my nephew up with some Warhammer 40K stuff, so he was slowly getting into it because my brother started. He plays Necrons, so it was really cool to send some stuff to my nephew. I got him set up on some orcs, so I'm excited to see him build and paint those. That should be pretty cool. It's hard to get a workout into a semi. Well, it's a good workout. It's called keeping the lot lizards away. You know, it's difficult. I don't envy you, Ibrahim Gaunt. They get pretty sneaky. They're almost like Gene Stealer cult. I misread that, Coordinate Games. At first I thought there was an F in there. You're like, I left my 4-year-old son to have a Necron army. I was like, oof. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, Necron armies are pretty cool. I mean, I don't judge. But you let him have it. That's my bad. I put an F in there. That one's on me, Chief. There's family, and then there's the eternal tomb. You know, you gotta you gotta choose. Alright, so what we're doing now is we're gonna paint his vest leather. I'm gonna paint this rough edge up here, probably green, you know? No, it's 40K. Necrons are pretty cool, man. I'm partial. I love how my brother paints his. He picked a really, I guess, obscure dynasty. His looks really good. He does like a lot of silver and blue. It looks really good. I'm a huge fan. But the best Necron army I saw, someone converted their old Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So this is before Old World came back. So in between Fantasy Battle getting shit kicked and AOS and all that stuff, and before Old World came back, he took his Tomb Kings and did a full retrofit into Necrons, and they look gorgeous. He loves Konflikt. Konflikt is great. So that is the one thing I will say. I'm excited to see what they do with the lore. As you guys know, I went back and I labeled all my videos first edition, so there's no confusion. But I'm excited to see what they do with the lore. But again, it's the turn mechanics. I think that's what really kind of keeps me coming back to Bolt Action and Konflikt 47. I love the turn mechanics. That is just absolutely phenomenal. And I love that in Konflikt 47, just like these guys, I can have alternate history Blue Division wearing these long blue trench coats. You know, I got the idea out of Serenity, the brown coats. So these guys have these long blue like trench coats and red berets, and they're fighting in the winter time. It's so cool, man. Just wild. You can do whatever you want. RK showed up with his tropical Germans. Like, it was so cool. Konflikt 47 really lets you do whatever you want, and I feel like that creativity is truly what makes it special. The first lore book does, yes, Fortress Europe. I'm excited. As you guys know, I'm a wargamer just like y'all, so I haven't been offered it early, which is perfectly fine because I wouldn't accept it. So once it's available for all of us, as soon as it's available, I will purchase it, and then I will read it on stream just like I did with the Konflikt 47 rulebook, and then I'll make videos, and we'll start covering the lore again. I love going full Wolfenstein. Yeah, there's so many cool ways to do it. Raspberry beret. Yeah, I plan on leaning a little bit more fantasy or kind of crazy style with my Konflikt 47. We'll be replacing a lot of my actual Imperial Japanese soldiers with more natives. You know, I feel like that's kind of cool. Kind of leaning more for that, and same thing, I'm gonna start mixing like half and half, so there'll be like uniform pants but no shirt, you know, and then like maybe a torn shirt, so I'm gonna try and make him a little bit more look shipwrecked and half abandoned. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So as I was sitting there getting the shit kicked out of me in 10th edition 40k, and I can hear my buddies in our Bolt Action League playing, I'm like, think about Bolt Action guy. And I just, it's just nothing against 10th edition. Like I said, I know a lot of people have fun. I'm not shitting on it. I love the lore. I love the way the models are built. It's kind of cool. But just playing my opponent, and he's only ever played 10th edition, per him. But he was so focused on the circles. Like when I moved one model, he's like, "Why are you moving it there? You can't score any points." I was like, "Because I'm gonna run your guy over." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm gonna tank shock him." He's like, "Why? You're not gonna get any points for it." I was like, "Because it's fun." I was like, I just want to run him over with a truck. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. But he just looked so dumbstruck, like, that's not worth any points. Why would you do that? That's suboptimal. And like I said, he's a great guy, but he's like, yeah, it's a game of inches. You know, it's very exciting to see, like, one bad move could cost you the whole game. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, it wasn't the 40k I grew up with. Like, in the table, I know we played 500 points, but sweet mother lord of God, the table we played on, like the little mat he laid out, it looked, no exaggeration, it looked like the little airplane, like, lap table, you know, where you fold your tray in the upright position. It's an aircraft tray. I was like, what the fuck is this? You couldn't outflank if you tried. I feel like if my orc sneezes, he's gonna step off the map. I was like, what is this? And models have like fly, and people are like triple charging and moving all over the map. I was like, what the hell is? And everyone's worried about like scoring points, and so I made the joke, you know, it's no longer like what we grew up with like, in the grim dark future there's only war. Now it's like, in the grim dark future there's points to score and every inch counts, so make sure you move this well and discuss with your opponent. Like, what the hell is this? Where's the death and the murder? Everything sounds like an NBA score. It's like, oh, it's a close game, 90-65. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. Like turn 2, the only thing I was counting was my command points, so that way I wouldn't cheat. But I was like, I'm not. So are you counting your points? It's like, no, I don't even care anymore. I was like, this just turned into 28mm scale Gaslands. He's like, I don't play Gaslands. What's that about? I was like, running into things. And tank shock. So So, Trench Crusade, I like the lore. I thought it was really cool. It actually reminds me a lot of a World War One version of Carnivale. If you like Assassin's Creed and Cthulhu and like Plague Doctors and that cool stuff, look up TT Combat's Carnivale. The actual lore is pretty similar between that and Trench Crusade, as far as like the whole demons and stuff like that. I would be really interested. I say this all the time. I know I haven't streamed. I say that I haven't streamed in months. What the hell? You know, I guess I haven't said in a while. But I would love to see Trench Crusade as a more warlike game. I'm talking maybe the epic scale. So I would love to see like Flames of War, like 15 millimeter or like epic scale Trench Crusade. So we can have these huge long trenches and like I'm talking companies of infantry ready to go over the top. You have huge demons that scale really well, like kicking platoons of troops out of the way. Like that would be awesome. Yeah, the gameplay seems good. It seems like a modern take on Mordheim almost. It's very interesting. If you guys see in the background, you can probably see my Zona Alpha books back here. While I was gone, I was actually working on a tabletop version of Tom Clancy's The Division using bolt action rules. So it played very similar to Zona Alpha. It was kind of like an extraction shooter. It's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of terrain. I spent 2 months building terrain just for that. So I turned my table in my garage into like a New York City block. It was wild. All right. So what's everybody else working on? Anybody else painting? I hold my breath when I don't know, do you guys do it too? You can probably hear me breathing hard. I hold my breath when I paint details, so I'm like... U.S. infantry to go with some fireflies. Nice. Probably the classic. Oh, he's painting Trench Crusade. Very nice. Which, I don't know the factions by name, but which faction are you painting for Trench Crusade? I really like the, hopefully no one defended. I don't know what they're properly called. I'm gonna call them Fantasy Ottomans. I don't know if that's what they're called in the game, but I like the Middle Eastern Ottoman style, guys. They were pretty cool looking. My hand is hurting too much because of the fresh tattoo. Oh man, Matthew. I know you mentioned tattoo earlier. If you don't mind saying, I don't want you to give up personal info, but if you can describe what the tattoo is, I'm super curious. Your M1 power armor, nice. Oh, Iron Souls. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yep, that's neat. Yep, that's neat. So what do you guys think? You think when the new Gundam Wing... I say Gundam Wing. Wow, what am I? A kid? When the new Gundam Assemble tabletop game comes in, you think it's going to take a chip out of Games Workshop? You think some Tau guys and girls would kind of come back over to the Gundam side? What do you guys think? Weave. The essential Gundam 8th MS team, or 8th Mobile Suit team, I think was awesome. That was like Gundam Vietnam. No teenagers who are suddenly better than everybody, like it's some terrible, you know, Tumblr fanfic. You know, these were just realistic military veterans who were just fighting a tired-ass war with mobile suits. Gundam 8th MS team, or 8th Mobile Suit team, was awesome. So was, I think it was like War in the Pocket and Stardust Memory. I can't remember what it's called. The one where they fight on that one little planet and the kid becomes friends with the Zaku pilot. G Gundam's best Gundam. Pick out some details. Let's hit the knife sheath on his leg. we'll be taking a short break here, probably at about 2:30 a.m. my time, so in about 15 minutes. We'll probably take a short little break here. Then we'll be right back to the painting. It has been awesome catching up with you guys, and it's actually kind of fun painting minis on stream again. I have not heard from you guys in a minute. It's definitely been a while. Right? Yeah, so, Ginny, I think you know this too. So that was my intent on this stream. So if you guys are curious why I stream these weird hours, I don't want to interfere with anybody else's stream. I know a lot of people actually make money off their streams, and that's like their whole thing, which is cool. No, you know, you do you, boo. So I never want to take away from their clientele or distract from their streams. So I stream in off hours. It works for me because I work weird hours, so I'm actually awake at this time. And I always work night shifts, so it'd be kind of cool, you know, to imagine that there would be some kind of stream on night shift when I'm working in another world. And the other thing is I wanted to really try to aim and capture that kind of laid-back style of the old Toonami and the Midnight Runs. You know, they showed all the unedited stuff. As you guys can tell here, because I have no sponsors, I can say piss, shit, fuck. I can say whatever I want. It's fine. Because you guys have gotten enough people subscribed where YouTube offers partnership, I've turned it down. So they still make their money. I'm sure they still show ads, which is fine because they host my videos. I think it's a fair trade. But I've come a long way from being blacklisted for and getting shadow banned for getting that one warning for playing that Fallout music on a stream. That was hysterical. It's like, I'm offended. Hey, what's going on, Francis? How's it going, man? Long time no see, brother. We were painting up an Imperial Japanese officer model right here, a little Tiki. Which is kind of cool. I don't think I like how the leather on the vest is working, so I may actually change that over to green. Yeah, I think I'm going to change that to green. No. It was playing licensed music from Fallout. That's what got me that ban. So I started a 24-hour, I still have it too. I have like over 8 hours of Fallout music, including some original ones I made with AI, and then me doing the voice acting of a radio DJ, right? So it's like over 8 hours, and I had that on a randomizer, and I was playing it as a stream, so you could have like a whole new Fallout radio, so you can listen to it while you play any of your Fallout games. Now, I did it in line with the release of Season 1 of Fallout, so I guess they were waiting for that kind of stuff, and I got hit with that hammer so hard. I had a strike for like a long time. I did the online training, and it still took a long-ass time for that strike to go away. VW Beetle and Puma X, I like it. Nice. Yeah. So I think I'm finally off their shit list, which I'm okay with. So yeah, it turns out what I did wrong is I didn't have the appropriate license to stream music, and I think it was the Elvis songs that got me. So fair is fair. Zombie T-Rex versus Comic King Kongs. Yeah, that's something I kind of want to do in a future Konflikt 47 game. Since I got Arcane and some other people in the chat. So I like to do kind of like a Hollow Earth campaign. You know, so we'll have like a huge map, and then like somewhere in the middle we'll have like a dinosaur or King Kong or something like that. We'll have them as like a neutral party, like we'll keep them on ambush. And they'll be like guarding the objectives. So like the closest we get to them, they're going to charge the first person, you know? That'd actually be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think one of the Call of Duties did that for a while. On one of their maps, they had this huge map, and they had like Kong and Godzilla fighting while you fought, and I thought it was super cool. Starship Troopers in Halo game, nice. All right, let me get a green coat on this guy, and then I think we will take a Orc break. I don't want to use orc flesh. I want to use wall flesh. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Yep, a little bit of green. I like that. But I can't thin it out a little bit. Yeah, that'll make the wood and the mask pop, and then the leather of all the weapons pop a little bit better. Nice. Hey, Cinematic Tabletop, thanks, man. We are painting. I have a custom Tiki model to use for my Imperial Japanese. So rifle, katana, pistol, and a submachine gun, depending on how you want to run him. He's gonna have a nice little rising sun flag. And then once we finish that, probably starting tomorrow, we're gonna be working on our. These are our blue division for Konflikt 47. So these are our Axis blue division Spanish troopers. And the guys with jetpacks are gonna be my Axis Falcons. It's my little jet troopers. You were distracted by playing Helldars 2. Well, hopefully you were there to help us at Cyberstan. You know, as a Creek veteran, I fought at Cyberstan. Custom minis, Mr. Fancy Pants. Looks great. Thanks, man. Yeah, I showed this Cinematic Tabletop, but for my Tiki Tears, I'm going to try and lean in a little bit more native style, so I'm going to be using these guys. I have Blood and Plunder Native Americans, I have Frostgrave Natives, and I have the Wargame Atlantic Aztecs. So I've kind of kit-bashed all those kits to make a whole bunch of more riflemen, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I'll be mixing those in a little bit more. Actually, I think I'm good. I don't think I need a break. I'm gonna just try and paint right on through. I got my Red Bull and rum, my delicious combo. Nice. I'm excited to see about it. For those of you guys who don't know, massive shout out to Cinematic Tabletop. This is the I will say it. It is my go-to channel for tutorials and battle reports for Bolt Action and Konflikt 47. I love this. I also like Mike Rolls Dice a lot too, but Cinematic Tabletops. I also have a bone to pick with Cinematic Tabletop. How dare you, Cinematic Tabletop? You got me into Mordheim. Curses upon you and your household. I am building my first Mordheim warband solely because of you, buddy. Well done on those videos. You got me. Oh yeah, his battle reports are absolutely great. Yeah, so I'm building Marienburg mercenary warband, but they're actually Sylvanian. So what they do is they sail on a ship, and they're often seen on the rivers between Marienburg and the vampire counts. And they sail off to Slovenia. When they come back, their ships are full of priceless art and artifacts, and they sell that from Marienburg for money. And volunteers, you know, to work as maids and butlers, and they sail back for the vampire counts. Ironically enough, those people aren't seen again. It's kind of strange. Who knows what they do with that gold? So, my warband is the captain is Yakimo, the Corsair of Coins, and the crew of the Crimson Wealth. So I'm using a lot of D&D figures, like female vampire, like royalty for a lot of my champions and young bloods. And then I'm using Frostgrave crewmen for my sailors. And I have my ship from Blood and Plunder that I'll be using, not the Crimson versions of shirts. I have my ship from Blood and Plunder that I'll be using as my way to transport them. and also for terrain. Yeah, I like the green vest a little bit better. Yeah, we're starting one locally. There's a lot of people that were pulling off a D&D campaign that fell apart, and a lot of people who play some old world and some other stuff. And we're getting we're gonna start it as a monthly meetup, and we're gonna do 4-way melees. You know, so I think that's how we're gonna start it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm trying to do really hard to bring a lot of local life into my local shop. They've always been very friendly, very supportive of me. They've always been huge for Konflikt 47, so I naturally fit in real well there. So now we got a bolt action league going. We got a healthy K47 scene. We're starting a little Mordheim scene. It's good times all around. Was there ever a Bretonnian warband for Mordheim? I'll take a look. I mean, you got Cinematic Tabletop right here, so he's my sensei. He might know better than me. So, the ones in the original rule set, and please correct me if I'm mistaken, you have the three different Empire Merc bands. You had the Skaven, except the Skaven don't exist. It's all a lie. Don't believe it. There's no such thing as Skaven. You had the Undead, and you had Witch Hunters, and you had the Sisters of Sigmar, I want to say. Oh, and you had the Chaos, the cult, or the Carnival of Chaos, or the cult people. And then they have expansions, like authorized expansions. From there, they've added a bunch of other stuff. So I'm pretty sure they probably added Bretonnians. That is awesome. And then hopefully one guy next to him with coconuts. Nope, there's no such thing as Skaven. Skaven are actually not in the rulebook. Skaven don't exist. You've never seen Skaven. Ignore the stories you hear about Skavens. Don't trust your lying eyes. You've never seen Skaven. Oh no. Try to keep that. I gotta pick that flag white here in a minute. Alright, we got this green vest in. I like it. We're gonna add a bunch of grass and stuff on there to kind of give it a little bit more texture. But yeah, I like the green vest. I like it green better than the leather. But yeah, I sort of did D&D, like a whole bunch of D&D. Mordheim was kind of a natural extension. And I have a whole lot of terrain, especially for when I did Strahd. I run a lot of Curse of Strahd, so I'm like, I got a lot of terrain set up. Falling around clapping his hands. I love it, Matthew. Oh, that's great. I think it was published in Town Crier. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's funny. So I'm actually using my favorite miniature for Strahd. He's actually going to be my mercenary captain. My Captain Yakimo, the Corsair of Coins. So his shield is just a giant, like, brass shield, so it looks like a coin, you know? And then all my other swordsmen, their shields are going to be black with red on them, you know? Dark Sun campaign. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the best Curse of Strahd campaign I ran it where all the players started as bounty hunters. And they had one assistant who stayed level 2 until they died and their assistant took over. And the way I did it is I did the Taroka deck, which is kind of like Tarot deck. Except I took inspiration from the GWAT, you know, where during the second Gulf invasion, we had a deck of 52. And in the deck of 52, every card was a bounty, you know? So we ran that way, but going into Curse of Strahd. So the Taroka deck, every card was actually a bounty for one of the characters in Barovia. And so the players were all bounty hunters, basically like monster hunters going out there, you know, killing these guys, chopping off heads, kind of like Witcher style, like getting bounties. It's pretty good, because it's like, what gives you a good reason to stay in Barovia? The money? Oh, Pangea Center for D&D. That's actually really cool. I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. Yes, surprisingly, I've gotten several games of Konflikt 47 in. Still staying with my beloved Imperial Japanese. I'm using a lot of conventional forces. My current list for Konflikt 47 actually has several Chiha tanks with medium AT guns. For my assault platoon, I actually lean on zombies, two squads of 6, and the Shiboro sniper. And then I take a, what I love is that Konflikt 47 Empire Japan and second, and what is that? Where are we now? 3rd edition of Bolt Action. The Japanese, you can take Tough Fighter with Riflemen, which is cool because that reflects Jukindo trained Imperial Japanese. They trained a lot close combat with rifles. So it's really cool to have veteran, big 10, 15 man, or usually about 10 man rifle squads that are veteran with Tough Fighter and Fanatic. They can really hold their own, especially when the NCO is a combat blade. I have seen them Smurfs definitely hit above their weight class. I mean, sure, werewolves and bears are still going to melt them, but they'll fight better than you think they will. I mean, I haven't even looked at Knock Jaeger this new edition. I don't even know how much they've changed. But the zombies from the Empire of Japan, being able to ambush charge is actually glorious, especially 12 inches. So I know, so they boosted walkers a lot. So for Konflikt 47 for the new edition, the walkers are very, I don't want to say Mary Sue, but they've really bent the rules for walkers. They get a lot of benefits, which is fine. That's where they're selling the money. No shame. You know, you do you. You know, they get a lot of special rules. A lot of stuff to kind of make them stronger, which is fine. One of the only things I'm thinking may need a tweak, but it's not fair because I think it's biased because I play Empire Japan. I think the flying rule, flying and jump, I think they need to look into that and how that deals with flak and pintle weapons. Because one of the things is when it talks about armor facing, they talk about how walkers have bottom armor facing. So when does bottom armor facing come into play other than like landmines? And what I'm thinking I'm thinking jump walkers and some other stuff. You know, if something is set on ambush, particularly if it has flak as well, like a pintle mounted weapon, I think when you jump and it triggers that ambush, they can target you anywhere in your movement. So I'm thinking they might start getting, you know, bottom armor facing to try and balance a little bit of these jumping mechs. We'll see. I don't know. Again, I think that's just me as a Japanese player saying that, so I'm not sure. I think if I played jumping mechs, I'd probably have something different to say. I think you're going to see a lot of people leaning towards the low cost and highly effective, especially Americans, because they get free guts with their officers. You're going to see a lot of people taking arty platoons. So for one officer, if you're not American, you pay for guts. And then one medium AT gun, very low cost. Keep that medium AT gun in the corner and keep it on ambush. You know, and you have that thing can punch through, you know, heavy infantry and some of the walking tanks, walkers, all sorts of stuff. And you have an officer with guts. So I think you'll see a lot of people lean in towards that. I think it's going to become very popular. Especially for the Americans, because you get free guts for an officer. Highly cost effective. Yes, they do. Yeah, Hardy can get absolutely insta-gibbed. And that's what I'm saying, with the Empire Japan, that ambush is huge. I keep a lot of my tanks in the back on ambush, protected with a zombie. And I've had Fireflies fall for it. I've had Fireflies fall for the bait of my tanks on ambush, and zombies pop that 12-inch ambush charge and absolutely eat them. But yeah, I've had Chiha tanks absolutely do some serious damage against everything from Pond Skaters to Kodiaks. Medium AT gun, because remember AT guns, you know, you get what is that, +1 to hit on vehicles. So, and Imperial Japanese on ambush are lethal, man. Nice. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. But overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with Konflikt second edition. I think I preferred the first. It's weird calling it the first edition because the first edition was like Clockwork Goblins. It was a whole different scale. But I think first edition Konflikt 47. I don't know if I like it more than second edition. I want to give it a little bit more time. I definitely like the sculpts a little bit better. I think there's some really cool sculpts for second edition. I'm happy to admit that. But I think for the most part, I think I like the first art style a little bit better. Oh yeah, Galahads are nasty, Matthew. I bet you actually melted somebody. You had 2 Volk Spin on ambush to lock down a flank. Fireflies worked. Yeah. So that's the only thing I haven't fought yet. I haven't fought daughters with wub guns. The Soviet game I had, we played actually on a Mordheim board, which is cool. And I had to stop these 2 Soviet heavy walkers. He brought the Mammoth and the other one. I had to stop them from crossing off the board. And I didn't have anything that could punch through that armor because the new Imperial Japanese book wasn't out yet, so I didn't have any lunge mines. So all I had was my medium AT guns. And all I could do was just like hit him on the flanks and hope to stop him. It was nasty. Those huge, massive, heavy walkers are brutal. But I will say the Soviet, what is that, harmonic dissonance rule? That thing is a pain in the ass. It's cool. You know, everybody has their own special rules. I'm down with that. But that harmonic dissonance, that wub every turn, oh my god, that is rough. Even with Fnatic, those pins start just pissing me off for like accuracy and stuff. It can be a heartbreak. Yeah, my sniper team did not do well that game. I think it only got like a handful of kills, maybe. Ooh, Soviets, man. Usually I love playing against Soviets in bolt action, but in Konflikt 47, I'm like, I want to play. I haven't played against Germans yet. I played about 5 games. I haven't played against any Germans or any Axis yet. I played against a lot of Americans. Played against British and I played against Soviets. Wow, same thing for bolt action. I just realized I never played Japan. I don't think anybody else in my area plays Japan. Konflikt or bolt action, actually. As I look, I think it's me and the store owner where I go are like the only Imperial Japanese guys. Let's get his Dictao in. Get that white. It's just been Brits for me for bolt action. I fought French, British, Yanks, and Russians. I said right now we're in a bolt action escalation league in my local area. So we're starting at 500 points. 500 points. You can't have any armored vehicles. Soft skin vehicles only, 500 points. After 2 months, we're gonna jump up to 800 points. I want to say, and you can have light armor up to 8. I want to say up to 8 plus for like light tanks, and then we jump up to 1250, and there's no restrictions other than nothing that's quote unquote cheese list. So. I'm not sure what counts as cheese list. Like I said, I have some like heavy armor list that has like a lot of tanks in it. I'm pretty sure that's probably what they consider cheese. I don't want to be that guy, so I'll work with them to figure out like, hey, which one of my lists do you want me to bring? Yeah, that's what I was thinking about axes. They're gonna need a lot of armor piercing. Not just heavy armor piercing, but to pierce like all their stuff. Nice. Hellcat fell asleep in my left hand. And it's losing feeling. Hey, Grim Tim, what's going on, man? Long time no hear. Hope all is going well in your neck of the woods. Friend, old pal. We are painting some Konflikt 47. I got a Kit Bash custom officer unit here. A very Tiki looking guy. Once the cat is comfortable, you cannot disturb the cat. One does not simply disturb the cat. Yeah, my dog's gotten so old and sweet now that I hate waking him up. So even if I'm like super uncomfortable and he's just like sprawled out, I'll do anything but wake him up if I can help it. He has been such a good boy his whole lifetime. Such a best friend on four paws that I just want to give him everything in the world. So when he's asleep, I'm like, all right, let me turn everything off, make everything all quiet for you. What can I do for you? So this is the same kind of paint scheme I'm doing for a lot of like my island natives that are all going to have this kind of white cloth in the front and back to kind of mark them as working for the Empire of Japan, you know? As more of the loyal islanders, if you will. Same with my boy Thor. Yeah, he's 23 and I just don't want to bother him. Absolutely, Matthew, you get it. Yeah, I think my dog is, let's see, what is he? He's 14. 14 good, solid, loyal years. 14 pounds. I don't know if that's a cat or like a puma. I think you might have a puma. And the cat, not the super awesome tactical car. And yes, I am that guy in Helldivers 2 who unironically refers to the fast attack vehicle as a puma. Now, what kind of animal has tusk? A walrus. Didn't I just say stop making up animals? How about it, Griff? Any more names? No. You don't want the leprechaun? No. Lopez, what's the name of that Mexican goat eating all them lizards? Or no, Simmons, what's the name of that Mexican goat eating all the leopards? That would be the chupacabra, sir. How about it, Griff? Chupa thingy. It's got a ring to it. I like it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's classic, absolutely classic Red versus Blue in its peak and heyday. When Rooster Teeth was in its prime. It was the Halo Machinima. They were talking about the Warthog, but they wanted to call it the Puma. It's like the LL12RV. I like to call it the Warthog. Why Warthog, sir? Because LL12RV is too hard to use in conversation, son. I mean, why Warthog? I mean, it looks like a big cat of some kind. Not like a Puma. You mean like the shoe company? No, I mean like the cat. Oh, you see these toe hooks? They look like tusks. What kind of animal has tusks? A walrus. Didn't I just say stop making up animals? I think one of my favorite Red versus Blue references. I think it was season 2. So he has Donut, and they're working on the Puma. He's like, "Hey Sarge, what's that thing that looks like a soup can? Ooh, what's that thing that looks like a rabbit?" It's like, "Donut, don't touch anything." And then he goes to start the car, and you hear like "Vrr, vrr, vrr, vrr," and you hear Donut scream. It's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" He's like, "I was just petting the bunny, and then it went into the soup can, and part of my hand went with it." It's like, "I told you not to touch anything. You touched everything. It's the exact opposite of what I taught you." And I think it was Griff's like, "Oh, bunny and hand," or no, it's Caboose like, "Oh, bunny and canned soup, just like Mom used to make." "I was just petting the bunny, and then it went into the soup can, and part of my hand went with it." "You'll be fine. Drink some orange juice. You'll make some new blood." That doesn't sound physically possible. That's exactly what he kept saying. When he ripped off his arm and beat him to death with it. That doesn't sound physically possible. That's what he kept saying, and it shows him like beating him with his arm. He's like, "This doesn't seem physically possible." Yep, there it is. This is just turning into a Red versus Blue quote-a-thon. What a man. Class. I want to say the first 2 or 3 seasons was the absolute peak, man. Classic stuff. Which is so funny. So if you're into Helldivers 2, there's a really good channel called Commissar Kai, and he sounds identical to Sarge. Like, I know it's a character, obviously, and it's not hard to like improvise, you know. But then when they did the episode on when the car came in Helldivers 2, it's almost like he reprised his role as Sarge, and they did a Red versus Blue skit, and he voiced Sarge, and I'm telling you, it was dead on. So I have a suspicion. So if you know Red vs. Blue, yeah, go watch Commissar Kai. Let me know if he doesn't sound exactly like Sarge. What you do about right? Why are we here? I don't know. It's one of life's greatest mysteries, isn't it? I mean, why are we here? So I watched Red vs. Blue again when I deployed. So this was like 2015. I watched it, and it hit good. It hit differently, but it hit good. I'm like, a lot more of this makes sense when I watched it as a kid. I get it. Well, like a spider, what, like a blue spider? Get it off! Or I like how the radio station was stuck on mariachi music, you know? And Lopez would come charging around the hill like, what's that music you hear in the background? Then whoosh, it jumps over the hill and starts gunning people down. It's not pink, it's light red. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff I grew up on. So between, like I said, Toonami, Midnight Run, Red vs. Blue, the early YouTube stuff. The first videos I ever loaded to YouTube was when I was in college back in like 2007, 2008. Like, you'd have to like really dig around to try and find it. I think I can still probably find it, but it's old. Like old. But I miss the old YouTube. I miss a lot of the old people. You know, Matt Pat, Jenna Marbles. You know, we got Joji, you know, like a lot of the classic style YouTube stuff. That style of humor, you know, Rooster Teeth and Machinima and doing my best to try and bring back that fun feel, you know. I'm trying, we'll see. But I'm gonna try and keep this going. College in 2008, bro, what was it like seeing a T-Rex? First off, lower your voice when you're talking to me, youngster. Secondly, I will tell you this will make you feel bad. You have no idea how fun it was to go partying in New York City on the weekends when you're in college, and there were no one really had a smartphone, so there was no evidence, no videos, you know. People just started using Facebook. MySpace was finally going away. The amount of shenanigans, no one was recording or selfies or TikTok, none of that shit. It was a glorious time. People were actually living in the moment. I know I sound like a boomer, like, oh, back in my day. It was a blast. You weren't attached to your phones, instead you're trying to make your BAC rival your GPA. Oh, glorious times of which my lever does not appreciate. Sound like a boomer. That was actually my first ever bar fight. Not even a bar fight, it was a drunken brawl. We got a drunken brawl. What is that shitty restaurant that people go to? Hold on. What's that shitty place? Oh, White Castles. Yeah, I got the shit beat out of me in White Castles. We picked a fight we could not win. It's so funny. So there's a really, really great Konflikt 47 channel out there. Mike Rolls Dice. Not to dox Mike, but he said where he's from. So he says he's from, you know, the New York, Long Island area, which is funny because I went to college in another part of Long Island, and we have a term that we call flids. A flid is a fucking Long Island douchebag. And those were like our, I guess, townies that we fought with all the time. Almost like a rumble, you know? So many a time you had some people drunk on the Long Island Railroad and full-on fisticuffs brawling with locals, or flids as we call them. So that's where we were. I think we were near Jamaica. And we were at a White Castles. And somebody had started a fight, and I just really wanted to eat my White Castles. And so we get in this brawl, and I'm trying to take on this one guy, trying to keep him from taking me to the ground. I'm assuming he did wrestling in high school. That's what it seemed like. And so I'm trying to like stay on my feet. I just feel like this this force just moved through me, like a rippling like force, and knock all the air out of me. And it turns out some dude hit me in the back with one of those giant plastic like chairs. Absolutely knocked the shit out. At the time I was super skinny because I did a lot of running, so I was like 165 pounds soaking wet. I was like 6'1". So yeah, I did pretty well. I took one or two guys, and then I got hit in the chair in the back, and I went down. Imagine a sausage roll with double the bread. White Castles, boomer. Probably a slap fight over your feather boa. Eat a dick, Sean. Oh, that's like back in my day, we had discs for video games. Yeah, that's right. I played Oregon Trail on a floppy disk. Come at me. We died of dysentery like real men. Number crunchers, all that fun stuff. Wavy Navy. What you know about Wavy Navy on the A drive on your floppy disk? I think Sean was around when Pong came out. You can ask him about that. Yeah, that was the first. That was the first of bar brawls. Then in the military, yeah, many a time we got in some scuffles at E clubs and O clubs. Math blasters, there it is. Math blasters, that's what it was. Bossy, you make fun of that shit. Some of those old floppy drives, they had some better video game development than some of these modern games. Good lord. Pop machine as a kid. Alright, we're working on our model. Getting them there. Getting them there slowly. Yeah, so clearing up an E club was tough because overseas, you know, there's a lot of status of forces agreements, what we call SOFA, and a lot of countries don't look kindly on things like tasers or pepper spray or batons. So when you go to clear out an E club overseas, especially in like Europe or other countries, you have to check all your weapons at the desk. So we would literally go back to the squadron, go to the desk, you know, take off our pistol belts, leave our rifles there. You know, and go to the E club, and you're just in uniform. No ass baton, no taser, no pepper spray, because you don't want to go in there in weapons. Because you go in there weapons, someone could pull a pistol, and all hell breaks loose. So it's kind of like confinement, where you don't have any weapons. You got to learn how to actually just. And the best training before you learn all the cool punching and grappling moves and combatives and, you know, watered down Brazilian jiu-jitsu they teach you. The best thing to learn is just how to take a punch in the face. Harsh words only work on sober people. Well, I'll say if you've ever seen a bar brawl while you're still sober, you can. It's like watching dominoes. You can literally watch when that first one falls. You see it knock like 2 or 3 other things. You're like, oh no, and then just all hell breaks loose. And then there's the other point in just about every E Club walkthrough, every bar brawl you'll get into, where the tide shifts and more MPs show up. And then it goes from a brawl to like a calf scramble, and you just see everyone start running for the doors, the windows, you know, the back door, pushing the bar back aside, trying to roll through where the kegs come in. Hey, stop motion gamer, what's going on, brother? Yeah, so there's always that moment where you see things just about to start. Bonsai, brother, and you see where they realize that the pitch has changed and they all start fleeing. Those are good times, man. Nice! Speaking of Sega, I played that all with my brothers. What I miss, I know they have a modern day Mutant Football League, but I really miss Mutant League Hockey. Mutant League Hockey is probably one of my favorite older video games of all times. That's what we desperately need. As hockey is getting more and more popular here in the States, and especially, you know, it's worldwide news with the Olympics. We need a Mutant League Hockey. Nice! Good to hear you getting into Trench Crusade. Like I said, I'm so happy to hear people getting into us. The models look so cool. So I'm glad to hear it. Like I said, I always think it sounds really cool to see it as like a 15mm, like an epic scale, but I think if I get into one more miniature game, either I will kill me or my wife will, so I'm sticking to like the 5 or 20 that I have now. So I played Bolt Action Konflikt 47 a lot in my local area, starting Mordheim. And every now and then I crawl under the rocks to try Warhammer 40k, get my shit kicked in, and I crawl back like, nope, not yet. So today was one of those days. Today I got the shit beat out of me in 40k. But the best part, like I keep saying, is while I was doing that, I could hear the guys play Bolt Action in the background. I'm like, oh, I don't know if you've ever had this happen where you're playing one war game and you see someone else playing another war game, but you're stuck playing that war game. You're like, I wish I was playing the other war game. I had that moment today. I was literally playing 500 points of Warhammer 40k 10th edition. This guy was going full rules. Nothing wrong with him. He's a very good, very knowledgeable, and he even admitted competitive player. Well, he says he likes playing competitive, but he doesn't like tournaments. That was kind of weird, but whatever. No shame on that guy. You know, he did everything per how he usually plays, and I'm okay with that. But like I said, what bothered me the most, I think, even though we're doing 500 points, is the table, quote unquote, we played on was literally the size of your lap tray on an airplane, like on a Southwest Airlines or Frontier flight. It was ridiculously small. And then I look over the shoulder to the Bolt Action guys who are also playing 500 points of Bolt Action, and it's an actual table. It's a beautiful French village with like wheat fields that are in bloom and bridges and a windmill and like a house, and one's destroyed. I'm like, oh yeah. And I had like a fucking paper towel size map with, you know, 1990s laser tag L and 7 shaped ruins on it. And I'm like, yep. The models are cool. The rules could be cool too. But I'm like, the terrain and the points system is like, I keep joking around. It's no longer, you know, and there's only war. It's like, there's only point scoring, you know, and I actually watched him straight up avoid combat to score points. But I was like, alright. And then he explained where even if I did get, which I didn't, but if I did get tabled, there's a way you can still win by scoring points. I was like, that is the... Like, I understand the objectives, like setting a bomb or like raising rally points, like destroying stuff. That makes sense. Yeah, especially if that's very orky, that's cool. But he's like, no, you can score certain secondaries. You could probably still win even though you get tabled. I was like, how in the world do you win a game of Warhammer 40k by getting tabled? That sounds like it's like saying cast iron parachute in the same sentence. I was like, my feeble mind does not comprehend. I do not comprehend how I can get tabled and win. Apparently Spearhead. So I watched some guys play Spearhead. The terrain looks okay. I like all the rules for it. The only thing I don't like about Spearhead is that I don't like how seasonal it is. And I saw someone have a double turn, and I was like, no. Because I was really thinking about it, because my wife loves dinosaurs. So I was thinking about getting some Seraphim, like some lizardmen. And I watched someone do a double turn while they're playing a game, and I was like, ooh, I probably won't be playing that. And I think that's what brings me back to my... Oh, I just realized I went over. We're past 3 o'clock, so let me finish painting this flag, and I'll probably pull the stream to an end. Man, 2 hours goes by quick, right? But I think that's what brings me back to my beloved. That's what really brings me back to Bolt Action Konflikt 47. It's the turn mechanic. I think as I try some other things, I think that's what'll always make me happy is no pre-measuring and the turn mechanic. I think that's why what I absolutely love. That turn mechanic at both. There's a lot of things that aren't perfect with Bolt Action and Konflikt 47. I will be the first, especially 2nd edition Konflikt 47. There's a lot of things I'm not the biggest fan of, but that sweet, sweet turn mechanic. Nathan, all right, that's 3. Nathan, meet me out in the street. We're dueling. We're doing 12 paces. Black powder pistols. You don't get to choose between swords or pistols. We're doing pistols. Meet me outside your house. We're doing 12 paces. and I'm going for your knee. I'm gonna get you right in the knee. So every time the weather changes and you feel the barometric pressure crack your small little bones in your knee from where that 1 ounce shot went through your patella, you'll remember the times you insulted me. It's gonna be a rumble. I'll be your second, Tiki. Thank you, Matthew. I love it. 12 paces, Nathan. It's so good. Man, it's so good to see you guys. As you guys can tell, I was supposed to stop at 3 o'clock, but I went way past. I don't really mind, man. It's so good to see all you guys again. It is a variables who in here of awesome, awesome people. Hey, have a great night, Stop Motion Gamer, man. Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate it, brother. We'll be streaming again tomorrow, same time, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern. Feel free to swing by. Like I said, we're painting my, lack of modesty self-insert character like I'm some terrible romantasy author. Rumble in the nursing home, I couldn't resist. Thanks, Jenny. So while I have you guys here, let me generate some interest. Talking about, and if you guys don't know, you can ask RK and some other guys. I like to plan stuff way out in the future. So what I want to talk about is what could be the next Tiki Tales events. We've done Clash of the Caribbean, which we'll probably do again. A cruise is a good idea. The logistics, I know it sounds complex, but you can ask RK. The logistics work out really well. Some of the other things we're thinking about, maybe an event in Texas, because I know there's some people in the central states. Another one we're thinking about doing is possibly one in Vegas. That way we can get a lot of the West Coasters, all the Californians, the Oregonians, the Washingtonians. That'd be kind of cool. If you get there, you are fine, yeah. But like I said, surprisingly, as I'm planning this event at like Warpfire, planning the event on the cruise ship was actually a hell of a lot easier. Well, I gotta go take my arthritis pill and restock my Depend supply. Alright, well don't forget to catch Matlock or Blackadder. Have a great time, Cinematic Tabletop. Thanks for swinging by. I love y'all's content, man. So look for me in your comment section. I'll be there, brother. Thanks for showing up. It means a lot. Konflikt needs more spaghetti. Yeah. Benny Hill, yeah, there you go. Matlock, yep. One of these days, I'll have a road trip down to Florida. It's not too far from Wisconsin. Yeah, so as you can tell, when I plan my other events, I'm like Texas, Vegas. As you can tell, I don't like snows. I don't really plan on going up north. Later, Cinematic Tabletop. Take it easy, brother. Yeah, guys, please go check out his channel. The best tutorial content for bolt action and Konflikt 47. His bat reps are legendary, and they got me into Mordheim, those bastards. So, can't speak highly enough. Big fan of Mording Glory and Mike rolls dice, but when I want to watch a battle report or a tutorial, it's Cinematic Tabletop with the quickness. There we go, we're getting our white flag in. Once we get that base coat down, I'll grab my ret paint marker and actually do my little bit of Rising Sun on there. So once we finish the white flag, we'll probably call it for the night. Yeah, no, Arcade, don't you dare. Don't even mention it. I've seen it, I've thought about it, and I'm purposely not watching him for that exact reason. I can talk myself into any tabletop game, and I've seen those, and I'm like, ooh, they look good. I'm not even going to watch. I refuse. Nope. Ginny, we are going with the flag of the Rising Sun. We are going for, what were they going for? The East Asian Prosperity Sphere. That's what we're going for. That's what I'm hoping for in the lore, so join me. No, No, RK, I don't need another tabletop game. I refuse. I know, Jenny, you're good. So in the lore, it seems like, just from what I've read, from a little bit they slip. So if you want to know a little bit about the lore for Konflikt 47, if you have the app, go and read some of the models. Read some of the units, especially some of the more basic ones, like for the medium AT gun for the Imperial Japanese. It talks about how the Americans invade Iwo Jima, which is kind of cool. You know, so they're actually letting a lot of the lore slip ahead of time. Possibly. But, what I'm hoping is that the Empire of Japan is more than just the Empire of Japan. I'm hoping it's, you know, the Empire of Manchuria, you have the royal ties. I'm hoping we take India. That'd be great. No, don't say I can use my bolt action stuff. No, because I've thought about that too. Don't do it. I refuse. Grim Tim, you're not helping. No, please tell me there's not Pacific rules. Don't do it. No, don't say I already have the terrain. Oh, God. Enablers. That's what you guys are. You're like enablers. Jesus. Thank God it's not a stream for Square Grouper. Good Lord. Enablers. That's what all you guys are. Do it. I don't want to learn a whole nother game system. I'm already struggling with the ones I have. Especially after I just got my shit kicked in or whatever 40k. I did not feel good about that. I was like, I kind of know the rules. Maybe I knew enough for a 500-point game. Like, turns out, I do not know the rules whatsoever. I didn't know triple charges were a thing, and there's some weird shit. I'm like, nope, never mind. Back to bolt action. The plastic calls to you. I do have a very unhealthy amount of Imperial Japanese. I totally forgot I bought the armor off somebody, a whole army off somebody else. So I'm like, man, I felt like I had more stuff than this, and I opened up my cabinets, and there's probably 2,000 points of Imperial Japanese, gray and unpainted, staring at me disapprovingly, and I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot about all those. I was like, oh, well, yeah, there we go. You're not wrong, Grim Tim. That is probably the definition of wargaming, buddy. It's like, hey, I got this whole new thing we could try. Let me get a nice little coat on this flag, and we will call it a night. Gotta meet up, catch back up with some of the coolest people around. Missed you guys, I truly did. We got some paint on a model, always important, always the first step. I said the light's pretty bright, so it's hard to see. Hold on. Anyway, light should be a little bit better. Yep, we got the beginnings going of our flag. I think it's been kind of cool to see. All right, we're getting there. Very ostentatious model here. Yeah, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Because what I'm hoping what it is, RK, and please don't tell me if I'm right, because I don't want to know. What I'm hoping is that it's like Kill Team for bolt action. I know we've talked about Firefly and some other stuff, But that's what I'm hoping 02 is, because if it is, and I feel like it is, I will learn it, and we will use it in our big thematic games when we meet up, you know? We'll do like an advanced, you know, 0200 Special Forces mission before like the big event goes off, you know? Damn it. Talking myself into it. Bastards. Oh, that was not hard. Alright, well. About them to go watch and look up. Oh, man. It's Cinematic Tabletop, too. He's so good. He's probably going to convince me. Alright, let me slowly, let's see if I can remember how to bring the stream to a close. Alright, let me open up. See if I remember how to do this. Alright. Okay. Alright. For those of you guys, actually, so let me recap what all we did. So we talked a little bit about, not really about what I was doing, because that's all boring work stuff. We talked about some games I've played since then. I played a lot more Bolt Action Konflikt 47, which I like, because now I can give you guys a little bit more advice if you're looking for it. Never offer unsolicited advice, but I have a lot of games now for both Konflikt 47 and Bolt Action under my belt for the glorious Empire of Japan, so I'm happy to dole out my opinion for what it's worth to anyone who wants it. Tried a few other war games, tried making my own. It's been good times. Been building a lot of terrain. I've been building in a healthy amount of terrain. Luckily, a lot of it's dual purpose, so we got that going on. But other than that, I'm glad to be back into streaming. What's bringing me back into streaming, as you guys saw, I know I've been making a lot of jokes about Warhammer 40k and some other stuff, but I try not to be too salty or negative. And as I watch many of the same streams you guys do, we all kind of hang out in the same chat rooms. I've noticed there's a lot of salt going on, and a lot of, lack of better term, kind of like ball washing and blindly promoting companies. Which, you know, hey, people can do what they want on their streams. I get it. It's a lot of work. You do you, boo. But it's not just one person. I'm not being cryptic and not saying names. It's multiple streams I've been part of. I've been jumping around. I'm sure you guys have seen me around. So I realized that, you know, I had a small niche. I had an amazing audience. You guys are awesome. So I'm like, hey, I think it's definitely time to come back and pick up that small niche of, you know, super positivity, super chill. You know, not glazing one company or the other company, like promoting all different types and kit bashing and just encouraging, hanging out, chatting, ribbing each other, you know, and just kind of sharing what all's going on. And again, there's no Discord, never will be a Discord, so it's literally just these chats. It's just, you had to be there when it happened kind of thing. We're kind of bringing back that older, I guess that, you know, old days of kind of tabletop wargaming, putting war games back in tabletop wargaming. So I couldn't ask for a better audience. You guys are awesome. I'm seeing a lot of the old names I miss. You guys are all saying night, so I hope you guys get some good sleep. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. I'm sitting here kind of rambling. I'm just kind of letting you guys know my mentality and why I came back. I've always been open and honest with you guys. So that's my big thing. I'm going to try not to. And you guys feel free to hold me to it too. If I start sounding like I'm rambling or bitching too much or complaining, that's never my intent either. I'm definitely going to come back and try and put in a lot more positivity. Except for Nathan. Yeah, fuck that guy. I'm going to duel him. But for those of you guys who are going to sleep, I hope you get the sleep you deserve. I hope you actually fall asleep and have good dreams. You don't wake up upside down as all the rust starts forming off the walls and you realize that you're stuck in Silent Hill and you can hear the static on your radio. For those guys who are going to work, I hope you actually get the front parking spot, and I hope when you go to smoke the smoke pit, there's no one there trying to bum a cigarette from you and you can actually enjoy your 15 minutes of relaxation and peace. And as always, stay safe, stay hydrated, and don't forget to relax today, because it's been a long time, but you're on Tiki time.
Drums just beach for miles. like tiki lights. Shadows dance in tropic nights. Sand beneath where boots once stood. Paradise ain't so misunderstood. Lost in waves and hula tunes. Tiki drinks and months of booze. Forgot the fight in distant lands. Just surf and play with tired hands. Bunkers built from palm and hope. Coconuts and crude soap. Imperial dreams fade in sun. Warriors turn beach bums. Shine to ocean gods we raise. Praying for forgotten days. Sock in the campfire glow. Life's a surfboard